couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
I'm trying to start or have an entire universe centered around and expanded upon multiple books. Okay? Now, my release schedule and all of that is to be determined, and it's certainly not going to be following in the footsteps of these quacks nowadays who just basically release as many books as they possibly can, and it's impossible for people to keep up with. But my aspirations are centered around having this extravagant, expansive universe in which hopefully people have someone at least they like to keep up with. Hopefully there's multiple people that are within the stories that they want to keep up with. But we'll start by, it'll be one character whose books will release. That's the book that's being worked on now. We're about 30 pages in of completed pencils and ink, 25 pages of color. We're moving on about a 5-page schedule. We have about, we're almost 100 pages of this book, of the initial book. But the reason why this book is so important is not only it's the character's obviously first book, which I believe will be a mainstay in the universe, but it's also the first book. So it launches everything in regards to the universe. So there's some important characters that are going to be launched whose stories will be expanding outside of this initial book, which is the plan. So you get the book, you'll know about some of the characters, you'll know about the direction kind of that we're heading in. And so obviously in the coming year, we release more books. Continuity and canon are two of the most important concepts with the book. So I plan on, once we have a bunch of books out, have a comprehensive reading order, or not reading order, a timeline. Read it in whatever order you can, but timeline, because not all stories are going to be told in chronological order. Some may be done in the past. Usually it's not going to ever be the future, but some, filling in some gaps and stuff. And you need to know that. So if the person is late to the party, they get to know where they want to start or where they can start if they want to keep up with what's going on. So the point here is that we're trying to build this expansive universe that is taken very seriously. Because all of the things that I gripe about with Marvel and DC, obviously those are not mistakes that I want to make. Marvel has everything. DC has everything from merchandise to the books to all these other things they're doing. This is stuff that we like to include, of course, in ours. We want to replace them for you guys that are just looking for good work. But the creators, you want them to value that product. And this is why I got inspired to do this myself. I thought that it wasn't gonna be until I'm like 40 years old till I was able to do that. And here you guys are supporting me, and you put me in a financial situation to be able to pursue these dreams now. I'd love to cross into the more merchandise, action figures, all of that sort of stuff, related things that you can get. And I've said maybe 10 years from now, we talk video games. Like, these are all stuff that sounds unrealistic right now because we haven't put anything out. But hell, this sounded unrealistic for me maybe even 3 years ago, that I would be in a position to be able to make something like this happen. If you are following me on all social media, you saw this photo that I took in my warehouse that, text says we got our first big shipment of RipperVerse stuff. Can't wait for you all to see what we have planned. It's right around the corner. And basically what this was me in my warehouse with some items that had, of course, already came. This is the first big shipment. This is actually our biggest shipment. And by biggest shipment, I mean, like, in terms of things that we ordered, this takes up the most space. And yeah, so we got those finally here. We have still some more things that we, of course, have to get, but this was the biggest order that we had. And you can go ahead and I'm not going to, of course, tell you what's in them. I mean, some people have already speculated, but there's some stuff in there, some items that you will be able to utilize, of course, that are going to be a part of the first initial campaign. We are not waiting for the books to get here. That's not really why we haven't released a campaign yet. The reason why we haven't released it yet is because we're still doing our website. The website is the biggest part of this. I wanted to give you guys the best user experience, and because we're doing some new things, we have our own kind of campaign kind of stuff that we're doing. We're not using any a lot of third-party stuff. We're not using, again, y'all know we're not using Indiegogo. We're not using Kickstarter. This isn't a crowdfund or anything, but we do want our own unique kind of campaign to be had on our own store that's housed on our own website. And that takes a lot of work, programming, testing, all of that, because, again, I want to give you guys the best user experience. So that's really the reason why it hasn't been announced, because we could have already ran it. All the assets are being printed right now. So we could have already ran the campaign, but we got to get this website ready to rock because I want to give you guys the best user experience. I want you guys to take this damn serious. I would love for it to be a situation where as soon as the items are, or the website's ready, and then we get all the items, we'll launch the website, which, again, that's right around the corner, probably looking at the end of this month. And I would love to have the items start to ship as soon as we have them. We just got to get supplies in order and all of that. So we'll see what happens. But when I say we're right around the corner, folks, we are right around the corner. This is a big deal for me. This is my biggest venture, I'd argue, ever. Certainly the biggest venture I spent the most goddamn money on, that's for sure. Holy shit. Still got another 32 grand that's that basically I gotta still fucking spend on, like, some of these items. $32,000. In addition to the $100,000 that I've already spent on various other stuff, fees and everything. I mean, some people asked, and I'm gonna do this because I'm documenting it, and just for the sake of transparency, as well as people that have aspirations. I want to let you guys in on kind of the process. There's so much that you don't consider when you are not only starting your own business, but your own publication, or you're publishing your own work. There's so much stuff that it's not as simple as do work, artwork, if you're doing comics or something, find printer, sell item. It's not. If you want to do it the right way, I guess if you want to do it a rinky-dink way, but if you want all your ducks in a row, you want your I's dotted, you want your T's crossed, then there's so much that you have to do, legal BS that you have to do, let alone if you're doing your own fulfillment. You know, that's another thing. I'm trying to keep this as independent as possible, so there's no roundabout way that we're doing this. I'm doing my company's doing the fulfillment. So this is why we have a warehouse that will be handling the fulfillment. Hopefully we outgrow that warehouse after the first campaign. That could be a good problem to have. But there's so much that goes into it that so many people don't understand. There's some people that actually thought I wasn't going to do this because I announced it a year ago that I was going to do it. And then some people are like, oh, well, he's not going to do it because I don't know, I didn't have something for sale the next month. It's like, it goes to show how people have no idea. They're so used to the mega corporate entities who have been around for decades upon decades, just putting out bad content for the sake of putting it out, not understanding that definitely, man, if you're trying to keep this damn thing independent, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of time. I had some comment the other day. It's like, man, it's been coming for months now, coming soon for months. It's like, how long do you think this stuff takes? Do you, if you haven't done it, I guess you don't know, but damn, like, I guess so many people are so accustomed to getting bad content again, just like that, like, just get it out. It's like, dude, man, you're trying to compare this to models that have been around for fucking decades, man. It takes, and we haven't been around, number one. I'm starting a company from the ground up. You cannot possibly, unless you're a business owner, you'll feel me, no matter what the business, you feel me on this. It takes a lot to get this thing off the ground, more importantly, so that you don't have to revisit something and you're not fucking yourself over, because that happens a lot. Whereas, you know, you don't think about that stuff. You don't have a CPA, you don't have accounting, you don't have folks that are helping out with a lot of the legal stuff. So it hits the fan and then you got to try to scramble after I don't want to do that. I wanted this thing to start off. I wanted the business part to be taken care of. And I also wanted, again, the best user experience for my audience, because I wanted them to take me serious. So because of that, it took time. And to me, I don't think a year is that long, like, to be completely honest. I would never ask you for your money until I have something prepared for you. I don't want to be in a position where, you know, we're still working on something before I'm asking for, and I'm already asking you to pay for me, then pay for the content. I'm not going to do that. That'll never be the model. But we are right around the corner. My team has worked so hard. I've worked so goddamn hard, but my team has worked so hard to make something happen. And the fact that this is almost here is really exciting. And I can't wait to show you guys what we have been working for. There'll only be one time that this happens, unless there's such a massive growth, which could happen. Well, we have to kind of go back to the drawing board. But really, what we have now is really going to only happen one time. You're talking about there was no company before this. I didn't merge with another company. I'm not using another company's assets. This was, I am starting a company from the ground up, and we are going to be a comic book publisher. That's a big deal. And it took a lot of work and a lot of stuff to get the content ready, as well as all the legal bull crap and everything ready to rock. So that part of it is going to that took some time, but the business element of the definitely the legal stuff, that only have to be done for the most part once, and that point is maintaining. So as we're maintaining that, the content itself coming out will come out a lot more quicker, of course. So, because the website, for example, the website, that's only one-time process. Everything else is maintaining, adding new features and stuff. But that's a one-time thing that takes the longest time to build it. So, for example, today, me and my artist start working on book number 2, even though book number 2 is out. Not out. Book number 1's not even out. This bad boy's right around the corner, man. And I can't wait for you to, get it. Really, I've worked so damn hard. And for this to be something that, to me, and I've said this time and time and time again, and I mean this, I'm not saying it just because it's my next project. This is the biggest thing that I've ever done. Certainly the thing that I spent the most money doing. But I say this as a guy that has toured the country. I played in front of thousands upon thousands of people in a band. I've had a lot of success in the political commentary space. What I am about to do with this comic book company destroys anything else that I have accomplished. This is something that I put a lot of time and effort and money, Lord help me Jesus, in. And it was really, I've done a lot of stuff and I've gambled before. That's not what I'm saying. But with something like this, to spend money like this, I have never done this. There are no investors that are involved with this company. Every bit of what you will see is stuff that I reached into my own pockets and I paid for. No bank loan, no investors. I reached into my pocket. And like I said, Lord help me Jesus, the dollars that I spent well over $100,000, and I have more to spend. But I think it's going to be worth it, and I'm excited.
Moses Ingram, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Reva, is initially dismissed by the Grand Inquisitor when she claims to send Obi-Wan on Tatooine. But she's smarter than her boss gives her credit for. Of course, because she's a strong, independent woman. The villain has managed to figure out that Ben Kenobi had been hiding on the planet to protect Anakin Skywalker's son, Luke. And after his final battle with Darth Vader, Obi-Wan races home to stop her from harming him. The site has no intel on what Reva has planned for the boy, but when Jedi Master arrives, he finds Owen and Beru subdued by the Sith Inquisitor, and Luke watching on as she stands in front of him, lightsaber ignited, remembering her own traumatic childhood and an awful life she's had inflicted on her. Reva is unable to kill or take the child and instead leaves the planet with her humanity intact. So it's been alluded to that she was one of the younglings that Anakin almost killed when he was taken on the Jedi Temple, and then I guess she didn't die and she became an Inquisitor. So it's all about her and saving her humanity. And in Obi-Wan Kenobi show, which has been, very heavily marketed as it's Ewan McGregor returning and Hayden Christensen returning. We're going to get to see Hayden Christensen be Darth Vader and Ewan McGregor play Obi-Wan Kenobi again. But no, instead we're not getting that. We're not getting Obi-Wan training, because in the very end of Revenge of the Sith, Yoda says, more training for you on Tatooine. Your old master has returned from the nether realm of the Force, and he needs to teach you this shit. So that way you can become a Force ghost in the original trilogy, and you can teach Luke Skywalker. And it's like, oh, instead of getting Liam Neeson as a Force ghost talking to Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan having to deal with all of the horror that he experienced and the guilt of failing Anakin and basically dooming the galaxy, and his only, you know, mission left in life is to protect Luke, because he's like, I can't fuck this one up. Instead of getting that kind of drama, we're getting, it's a strong, independent woman and saving her humanity, instead of restoring Obi-Wan so it would make sense why his character is the way he is in A New Hope versus the way he left him in Revenge of the Sith. These are characters that were created by George Lucas. Disney hates that. Anytime they have a character that was written by George Lucas or created by George Lucas, they have to overshadow that with their own character. They have to make their character better in every way, shape, and form, and kind of shit on the characters that came before it. It's like, we see what you're doing. The young Luke doesn't understand what's happened, and while Owen had previously dismissed Obi-Wan, he now has a better understanding of why the youngster must be protected. You don't fucking say. You think that Owen, that little clip that they showed in the trailer where he's just like, Obi-Wan's like, he needs training, and Owen's like you trained his fucking father? Yeah, no shit, he knows what's up. In that fucking line, he admits he knows shit got bad because of what happened to all the fucking Jedi. Owen, the dude that grew up on Tatooine, his freaking stepmom got freaking raped and killed by the freaking Tusken Raiders. He fucking knows. His dad lost his fucking legs. He knows better than anyone. He's had to live in like absolute hell his entire life. He knows how to survive until, you know, the thing that happened when, you know, the stormtrooper showed up and all of that fun stuff. But, yeah, you think that now, because a Sith Inquisitor showed up at his house, now he finally understands? Give me a fucking break. Like, that's one thing that drives me crazy about modern Hollywood, is they think that they're so much smarter than everyone that came before them. And it's like, really? Really, you think that you're smarter than all the other people that came before you. Oh, and finally gives his nephew the T-16 Skyhopper toy that Obi-Wan bought for him in the premiere, and a gift he initially refused to give the boy. It's a touching moment that brings the story full circle, but there's still more to come involving Reva and Darth Vader. We'll bring you the intel on that soon. So that is actually what Drunk 3PO was talking about in his video. Having been inspired by Obi-Wan's message to the Jedi who survived Order 66, a young Jedi named Nari finally locates the Jedi Master on Tatooine. However, since the Inquisitors are in pursuit of Nari, his arrival on Tatooine only draws attention to Kenobi and endangers Luke Skywalker. This report also claims that Rupert Friend's Grand Inquisitor, the fifth brother, and Reva, the third sister, arrive on Tatooine, where Reva senses Obi-Wan. The Grand Inquisitor dismisses her claim account that he cannot, leading her to take out her frustration on the citizens of Tatooine who failed to provide with information. The Grand Inquisitor dismisses her claim, blah, blah, blah. She was right. No man listened to her, right? But she was right. Look at that. Lastly, due to the threat of the Inquisitors, Owen Lars believes Kenobi will only lead them to Luke and tries to get his nephew back to the farm to keep him safe. Obi-Wan's new Jedi apprentice. Due to the casting of the Inquisitors, many Star Wars fans assumed the Jedi Hunters would naturally be hunting Obi-Wan, but if Nari actually leads them to discover Kenobi, this could be why Darth Vader gets involved. Also, Uncle Owen's fears about the danger Kenobi and the Jedi pose to his nephew are likely to cause of Owen's comments and poor opinion of Kenobi in A New Hope. Kenobi walks up behind Reva, and I think he says her name, breaking her trance. Reva apparently struggles to do what Anakin Skywalker did in that Jedi Temple 10 years before. She basically was one of the children in the Jedi Temple Anakin killed that day. The Inquisitors put Anakin on a pedestal, but because she finds herself in the exact same position, she cannot bring herself to murder Luke Skywalker. She is ambitious, but she is not a child killer. Kenobi lets Reva walk away. She does not attack him. The trailer, we all saw what it was for face value. It's a bait and switch. It's not going to be about Obi-Wan. It's going to be about this chick, which nobody wanted and nobody asked for. Everyone lost their absolute mind when we found out that Obi-Wan Kenobi was coming back, Ewan McGregor was coming back, Hayden Christensen's coming back, people were up in the air, they're upset. It's like, well, we want to be excited for it, but we know what Disney does. We know how they say, fuck you, and they do this shit to us. We're used to it by now. People learn, after being burned, you learn, oh, hey, maybe I shouldn't touch the stove when it's on because it's going to fucking burn me. That's what it's like with Disney. They're like, oh, come touch the stove, and it's like, no, fuck you, bitch. We're not doing that. We're not getting burned by you again. I'm not getting my hopes up again as we watch you bastardize this. They want our money. They want everyone's, all the fans that came before that, were George Lucas fans because George Lucas created all these characters, and they want to, bastardize and do all that shit show that they've been doing for years now. So it's no surprise. It sucks that this is happening because me and most of all, I do not want this shit to suck. I do not want them to be doing this stupid shit, but they are. Because they're stupid. I don't know why. I don't know why somebody there was like, hey, let's piss off the fan base. Hey, let's not give people what they want. Let's not make millions upon millions, if not billions of dollars.
Lucasfilm done did it again. They gave us a series about someone, but it's actually about someone else. The ending of the Kenobi series. The series is about Reva. So apparently when Obi-Wan is off-world, she tries to figure out why he's on Tatooine and discovers the truth. She discovers why he's there, who he's watching over. That's right, Luke Skywalker. She discovers that he's watching over Luke Skywalker and then goes to Luke's house and confronts Uncle Owen and Beru and Luke and gets them all in a corner and gets ready to kill them. As she gets ready to kill them, she has a moment. She has a moment that's been playing out throughout this whole series where she's like, I can't do this. I just can't do this. She remembers her training, I guess. She remembers that she used to be a Jedi. She remembers all that stuff. And she doesn't kill Luke Skywalker when she had the chance. She then goes back to see Lord Vader. And Darth Vader's like, all right, what's the report? She tells Darth Vader that she has killed Obi-Wan and that it's finally over. Darth Vader gets very angry and says, I couldn't even do it. If I couldn't do it, I know you didn't do it. You're lying. Off you go. And Vader kills Reva. And that's the end of the series. So it's not Obi-Wan that protected Luke Skywalker. It is the Inquisitor, the star of the show, what it's all about. It's about Reva. She saves Luke Skywalker from death. She covers up his whereabouts, and she sacrifices herself for the greater good of Star Wars. Lucasfilm has a habit of taking a George Lucas creation, using that creation to, rev up their Disney Star Wars creation. We saw that in the Book of Boba Fett. It was plain and simple. The best episodes of the Book of Boba Fett were the ones where he wasn't even in it. And so it was just telling the world, they're like, all right, you got Boba Fett. Yeah, he's okay. But when Mando shows up, Mando's so much cooler, right? Mando's so much cooler than Boba Fett. Our creation is so much better than Boba Fett. And who knows? So maybe that's what they're doing here with Kenobi. Let's just throw Kenobi in a series. Let's get Reva in there. Let's let her save Luke, because then we could take her and use her in the theme parks and put her on a t-shirt and maybe do a backstory with her on how she turned, from a Jedi to an Inquisitor and then came back around at the end. It's the perfect hero's journey arc, and we can use that and put more episodes on Disney Plus, and there you have it.
It seems that some of the fan base from this influential fan base have decided to attack Moses Ingram online and send her the most horrendous racist DMs. And I heard some of them this morning and it just broke my heart. Moses is a brilliant actor. She's a brilliant woman. And she's absolutely amazing in this series. She brings so much to the series. She brings so much to the franchise. And it just sickened me to my stomach to hear that this had been happening. I just want to say, as the leading actor in the series, as the executive producer on the series, that we stand with Moses. We love Moses. And if you're sending her bullying messages, you're no Star Wars fan in my mind.
For the first time ever,
yeah, look
here
at that.
at our booth at least, because we just did it at our panel, the Reva Force FX lightsaber, which is our new HasLab launching right now. It's already live.
Yeah, it's already live. Go, go, go!
Go! No,
buy them.
You see the animation going, you see the launch video. It was such an amazing launch video.
It really was, yeah.
The team did a really good job with that.
It's such a fun piece to have worked on too. I mean, there's just so much detail in this thing, from the die-cast hilt, the stand to go alongside the other sabers in your collection.
Yeah.
All the effects. Oh.
So the fans can come up close and personal and take a look at how the hilt looks. And of course, you have this displayed as the full ring lightsaber.
The full one, yeah.
Yeah. But as you saw, it has the half ring lightsaber, single blade or double blade. Now you have the full ring lightsaber.
Yep.
And you see it double bladed here. And we talked about some of the features that it has.
Yeah, there's some of the features. There's so many. I mean, this thing, because it's effectively two lightsabers and they're talking to each other when you've got two blades in, you get all sorts of great effects. You get sounds that are unique, completely unique to this thing. It's hard to tell in here with all the noise, but the sounds on this thing are completely unique to this lightsaber.
Yeah,
everything about it it's just above and beyond. I was shocked, and as a Star Wars fan, I loved getting all the assets in and hearing and seeing how unique this thing is, and then developing it, playing with how the rings come apart, so you can go down to that half ring, how you can go to the single blade, double blade, all those configurations.
Yeah.
Just super fun stuff.
And again, shout out to our partners at Lucasfilm for really working closely with us. We wanted to make sure we had this in time for the first couple of episodes, so we definitely got that in there. We wanted people to be, see, folks are getting
Yeah, do that. You can scan the QR codes, you can go buy one, or back one.
Go back one.
Yeah, because we need to get to 5,000 pieces. They're $4.99 each.
$499.99, 5,000 pieces. It's on the campaign's live right now.
This weekend, Star Wars fans made Obi-Wan Kenobi the most watched Disney Plus original series premiere of all time. And for that, I would say a big thank you. And it just goes to show what this family can do when we all pull together.
I'm Eric July, founder, owner, and writer. Welcome to the Ripperverse. The Ripperverse is the result of a comic book lifer that wanted to be a part of the solution instead of always griping about the problem. Now, don't get me wrong, this was always a part of my aspirations. However, the current climate certainly sped things up. You've watched some of your favorite comic book characters be bastardized to the point to where they're completely unrecognizable. They're just used as career stepping stones for a lot of writers that don't care about the lore. Some even despise their fans. Those are people that just want to tell stories that represent their social political views, even if they don't make sense for the characters that they're writing. And of course, these mega corporations that control these properties don't exactly make it easy for you to get in and understand what's canon. So maybe it's time for something new. There are three main things that we will always emphasize. Number one, respect the customer. We aren't owed your dollar, but we love to have you as longtime supporters. It's going to be up to us to keep you interested and invested. Now, anytime there's passion involved, there's going to be those conflicts, but we'll respect you. So as long as you respect us, it's all about reciprocity. Our second point of emphasis is canon and continuity. This is an ever-expanding universe. There's going to be many of characters that will be introduced. But when you buy a book from us, you own a piece of history. It matters. These events will not be erased by way of time travel or some multiversal aspect. And number three, a comprehensive timeline. No matter when you jump into this space, we want to make it easy for you to get caught up on some characters that you're interested in, so we're going to keep the reboots to a minimum. Now don't worry, we know that picking up the pieces is part of the fun, so we're not going to exactly hold your hand. We're not going to beat you over the head with on-the-nose current politics and current narratives that will completely contradict what it is that we're trying to do here. Your ethnic background or genetic makeup is wholly irrelevant to us. We want to expand in many different avenues: video games, animation, maybe even live action movies, but not if it means selling off assets. We only answer to the customer. We don't want to make the same mistake as the other guys.
Last day has been insane, and I had to do, of course, a video just to touch base with you all. To do what we did in just a day has been something that I just obviously did not anticipate. So the obvious is giving everybody a thanks. Obviously, I didn't anticipate to be here talking about $1 million in a day. I don't know what much to say because I wasn't ready for it. But what I will say is this is special. This highlights so much. It highlights that this is real. To see people enthusiastic about comics again is a special thing for me, because I know what this kind of hobby once meant for me and to me, and what that enthusiasm that I used to have, and so many of us used to have, that just isn't there. And now to be rekindling that flame for a lot of people, that means a lot for me, because it's something that I genuinely believe in. I just wanted to give it a shot. I wanted to give people something to want to invest in, and give people something to want to dive into an entire new universe that they can see start from the ground up. And I wanted to give them that, and that's what we're gonna give you. And to see other people reassure that, look, this was it, has been awesome. Thank you guys so much for the continued support. We're just getting started. Today, for example, is a big day for the warehouse that we have for the Ripperverse. It'll be completely racked and shelved, and then we can start getting to work, start pre-packing the orders for the items that we already have before we start shipping those out in August. Follow the Ripperverse Comics social media as well as Ripperverse, the new YouTube that we have, which will be producing a lot of content. But we're not going to shut up about it. We will continue to update you all about what it is that we are doing. Hopefully there's other people that can take some of what I did, implement it in their own plans. We'll be very transparent about how we do the business, how we grew it. I'll be doing a content series surrounding that because I want to see other people, not just in comics, in every entertainment aspect, because we need alternatives to the old guard. And let me end on this note. That's what this showed, is that we don't need them. We had not any external external sort of investors. We didn't have those other than the customers. But we didn't have any like megacorpo placing our stuff somewhere, forcing it out there. We didn't have any of that. What we had was an organic rise up. Different communities coming together that we already, we do our content daily, and that's all that we had. I saw people trying to post it in stuff like Reddit, the campaign, the ISOM campaign, and the trailer, and folks were calling it hate speech, and they couldn't post it. You know what I'm saying? That's what the old guard does, and that's how protective they are of the old guard. But what you see is that all those folks who acted like this can't be done, this is not realistic, you'll never compete, they're lying. The numbers that we have made from this campaign has been unlike anything. It's not like unlike anything. Of course, other people have made some money, but to see that in that short span of time, we got 74 more days to go of this campaign. Who knows how much this is gonna bring in? But it shows that there's a demand for it. We can be competitive. We don't need to rely on the old guard. And as more people see that, the optimism. Like I said, to talk about enthusiasm with comics about people, or that people have, but the optimism, man, that folks have when they see someone detached from the old guard just get out there and get people stoked on something, that inspires them to go out there and be great. That inspires everybody to go do special things. This is why I have said publicly many times, this ain't just about me. We have an entire parallel economy to build. This is way bigger than just me. So thank you guys again so much for the support. We got work to do though, and RippaVerse.com. Just keep visiting. We'll be updating you guys.
I get it. I've been called all the names in the books. I mean, hard. I'm telling you, not even A's. They don't even give me the luxury of just saying that. Putting the A at the end. Hard ERs. Dropping in bombs, calling me out my name, all kinds of stuff. Everything seems to be geared around the somehow that this black man is being used, or all of this sort of stuff, because they're watching their stupid arguments be diffused in real time. Now, we always knew they were chicken crap. We always knew they were full of crap. Even when they go and parade and try to present themselves as if they have the moral high ground. Racism is so bad. Well, here comes a guy who's black, and then you got all these things to say about him that are very negative, and you are applying a set of traits and attributes to him only because of his color. By textbook definition, that is racism. Now, I'd be like, whatever. If you were one of them cats that was open about it, but the fact that out of the other side of your mouth, you sit up and parade around talking about representation and diversity and inclusivity and all this racism is bad, until you saw a man that had just a slightly different political position than you did something great. And the people that allowed it to be great are the supporters, are the customers. Imagine that. Imagine that. Someone that just said, you know what? I am going to give the audience what they want. And it comes from somebody that doesn't hate them. Wow. Amazing how much support you get when you do that. I came up with original characters. I got a team around me. Concept artists. We built the designs for these characters. We get the interiors. We get 2 industry veterans. These ain't just guys that just started this. 2 industry vets. And Cliff Richards and Gabe El Taib. And then I put it out there. Didn't pay for marketing, nothing. Just put it out there. And in the most organic way, we got people to support it. I didn't have to pay them to do anything. Everybody that's enthusiastic that you see about it are enthusiastic because they believe in the project and they believe in me. It's as organic of a business that could probably ever exist. That's all I did. And I did that, and I have been calling it over the span of the last hours some of the most ugliest things that I've heard in my life. And it goes to show that these guys were always silly, man. Like this crackhead in the chat says, crowdfunding equals external investors. Ain't no crowdfund, you crack smoker. What crowdfund? What you see is not a crowdfund. The job is done. The books are being printed. The cards, I'll show you one right now. I will show you one right now. By the way, this is $100 because we put a lot into this. This ain't just no regular card. You see, people that see me, my hands ain't small. You see how big this card is? You see the lenticular design? You'll see a little bit of it, a lot of bit of it has very important information on the back. Oh yeah, this is my own ad, right? And I ain't got to pay for it. I'm doing it for myself. This card, you could get a full deck of 11 lenticular, well-designed cards. They're already done. Ain't no crowdfund. I know that crack smoking along with other people, they just can't believe it. How on earth did he do it? How did he do it? There's got to be something up. No, ain't no catch. Ain't no catch. Book's done. Ain't no, you gonna have to wait for a while. No, we start fulfillment next month. We're done. We need as many people in the entertainment space. This ain't just about comics. In the entertainment space, to detach themselves from the old guard and build a parallel economy. I'm not getting in your way. But you got even weirdos hating in that regard. It's like, oh, well, that should be me. Well, I used to do that. Or like, bro, what you hating on, bro? Why are you like that? I'm not knocking y'all. It goes to show that they do it for the wrong reasons, man. And this is why we're seeing a lot of success, because I've been giving it to you straight. This message of which I'm talking about is something that I've been preaching for how long? About parallel economies. How long have I been talking about that? About decentralization in these markets? How long have I been talking about what? I'm not knocking anybody seeing success in entertainment, because I want you to see success. Anybody that was more successful than I was or am, I don't look to them and say, that should be me. And then knock that person for being there, especially when they work to get to the spot that they're in. I'm not wired that way. I want my friends to be great, but I want other people, even if I don't know you, so as long as you're a good person, you acknowledge these universal truths, especially you value liberty, I just want you to be great. Because I actually believe in what it is that I'm saying. This is why I continue to say, bro, this is not just about me, okay? This ain't just about me. This is way bigger than that. It shows people that we can be great. It shows folks that we don't need the old guard. It shows we got enough money, we got enough excitement, we got enough enthusiasm right here. Right here. We don't have to go through the old guard. We can easily detach ourselves from them. It just takes discipline, and it takes a lot of work, because we got to build from the ground up. We don't have to start up stuff like a lot of other people. So all we got to do is just be focused, be disciplined, and you seeing what we can accomplish. I'm not the first one, and I ain't going to be the last one. So don't knock it. Actually give it a shot. The old guard is so protective of the old guard, so they're going to say everything that isn't true. The fact that there's a guy that isn't some deranged leftist that hates his customers is, putting his money where his mouth is, and doing this was something that they were always scared of. They were always scared of, because what they had the benefit of was being in control of the things that you all saw as legitimate, that I saw as legitimate. That's what they got off on. They infiltrated for that exact reason. We control the hearts and minds. We control the heart, we control the mind, because a lot of these guys do not use reason as their forms of arguments, if any of them. They're, for the most part, emotional. And leftists understand that that is very effective. You can influence an entire generation based on that. But what this signifies is that, well, if enough people just say, you know what, I don't have to go to that, I can go over here. I know that he's being transparent. I have a ticker where you guys see how much money we raise. I have stretch goals, which tell you what I am going to do with the monies. Okay? That level of transparency that crowdfunding introduced, I said, I like that. I don't want to crowdfund, but I like that. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to show people so they could see some of the big purchases that we're going to make. So they can see that. They can see the dollars. They can see how many people are purchasing it. I wanted to do that because we missed that. We don't have that at all. These mega corporations, you have no idea. You got to go get a FOIA request. They working with governments, all kinds of stuff. We're going to win, and there's nothing you can do about it. And calling me out my name, calling me egregious terms, trying to delegitimize what we're doing, it's only creating a kind of reverse effect. And more people are like, oh, why are these folks all upset at this guy? Oh, well, this looks pretty cool. Oh, I'm going to purchase something. You can't stop us. And I know that irritates you. But hating ain't going to get you nowhere. Criticize it all you want. You are warranted to do. You can do that. You can do that. But the hating stuff, that ain't going to get you nowhere because we ain't stopping. Another crazy day. As of me recording this video, we are closing in, if we have not already passed, $1.9 million in terms of this initial pre-order campaign. I've learned very quickly that in this business, so much can change. And we are making our adjustments. We've expanded our team. We're addressing problems, and it feels very good to be part of something special because it's as much bigger than me. Before I get started, let me go ahead and shout out to everybody. Of course, every single person that purchased it. I don't care if it was just one item or a bunch of them. I appreciate you. Make no mistake, I appreciate you. I can't wait for you guys to get the full book as well as the other items that are generally associated with it. We will be having a content series through the Ripperverse Comics YouTube. You should check that out, where we're going to at some point go through kind of updates and all of that starting next week. Now this... it's been so many people that have been in our corner of the internet that have talked about this, of course. And I think what people are now seeing is that we're not playing around. We're for real and we can't do it. And we're going to win. Now they're moving the goalpost saying, well, we don't know that it's going to be good. I've never let my audience down on anything creative that I ever done. People are going to get the book. People are going to absolutely love it. And they're going to be waiting for the next one. That's just what this is. So I'm not your enemy. Don't make me out to be. But this is just what this is. This is a real thing here, and it's showing folks that we can certainly do it. You saw this probably by now. Fox, they reached out to me, and they had a little interview, a little sit-down chat with them, and you can see kind of where we talked about and what that entailed. And even they're covering. We put the entire industry on the radar, like on notice, rather. That's just what this is. It's real. And it's all organic. I think that's what's so frustrating. It's not any of the, like, okay, you're paying the corporate entity to give you some sort of placement and you have this sort of non-organic growth that you often see with some of this entertainment stuff. But this is purely, and to me, this is the updated model. It's no longer as archaic as it was. It's catching up with the times. And that's why the old guard, who's done it their way for as long as they've had, and definitely these folks who have tried to keep us up out of the space, are realizing that, wow, they have a mechanism just by sheer way of technology to skip the line. And everything that they said, all these people, these protectors of this, said I couldn't do this or shouldn't do that. He'll never do this. And then we go do it. And then they know they can't stop it. So they're trying to cope with this whole idea, watching their arguments be diffused in real time. The industry standard right now is in the tank. So a lot of people are thirsty right now. They want something new and they know what they like. They know what they're into. And yeah, there's movements surrounding it as well. Again, think that's part of the future. that transparency. People know who I am. I've been public. I've told people. I've let people in on my life. Some of them, if you've been on YouTube, you've seen me grow up. And that they know and want to support that. And I welcome that. It's awesome to see people say, I've never bought a comic in my life. I know who Batman is. I know who this character is, but I never bought a comic in my life. This is my first one. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's what this is about. To see people enthusiastic about comics is just awesome. Now, I know the old guard, or people that are so protective of these billion-dollar entities that control the market in comics, or think they do. And they're so protective of that because they're so spiteful, right? They think that this gets at anybody it is that they dislike because, hey, we're looking to them. And I guess they're correct in that sense that, hey, why are we looking to them in the first place for our form of entertainment? I don't care that we grew up on that brand. Why are we looking to them? They got control of it. Why can't we create? So the folks that are confused by this, I just wanted to show you this as an example, as far as what I am going up against and why people, though wanting good material, here we are. You know, they want it, but this is what they're getting. Someone posted this. Max Priestley. Man, if I butchered your name, my apologies. And he posted about this being and the deal says, and I quote, "This is a legitimate panel from a comic, I Am Batman issue 11 that came out this week." Now let's look at some of the communication here. Looks like you have Montoya, and this is the cover, by the way, on this, and you can check that out. And this is what they said. Oh, this is what Montoya is saying. "What I know, Beckett, was racist, sexist, and homophobic. Now you're trying to virtue signal by offering the position of commissioner to a queer female representing Latinx." Now, that is a panel that someone's going to read that, and it's par for the course for what's happening right now in comics. But someone's going to read that and they're going to be like, "Why on earth what is this? Right? Why is this? What is this?" This person could have gotten, or Montoya could have gotten the same kind of statement or made a similar statement, which is basically that, hey, they're offering a position of a commissioner based upon whatever superficial stuff, and it's not honest. You could have worded that in a way that didn't basically read like, I don't know, some on the nose, bull crap that just seems like some Yas Queen Slave Gen Zer would say it and talk about it. It has all of the buzz terms that you would think in one bubble. It's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. But that's where we're at. And this is what we're up against. Now, this has worked out for me especially. But for you guys who look at folks like myself as if I'm an enemy of you and we're an enemy of you, you need to understand what it is that you are protecting. You are protecting something that is not sending their best. These are activists. These are people that are so led by their politics that they have to beat their audience over the head with it. And I'm not, of course, interested in doing, but when you do it and it as what it is, this is what's going to happen. People are going to be turned off by that. And that's what a lot of folks are saying. It's like, dude, this is why this is doing so well. And it's partially right. Yeah, it's good material. It's well packaged. It's great what we're doing here and all the other stuff. But yeah, part of it is that look what I'm up against. If you want to understand why we're seeing so much success, you should look at this guard that you've been protecting, so protective of, and look at the type of material that they've been putting out in combination with the people that are the creatives and some of the things that they've said. And use the platform that was given to them by this to sit up here and say stuff that, despises their customers. I'm just trying to make good material and get people enthusiastic. If you consider me your enemy and you're trying to go out of your way nitpicking and trying to find something to be mad at or upset because either it's jealousy or it's envy or just spite, you don't like the fact that a person who's aligned where I'm at doing something great, that's an internal conflict that you have to deal with yourself. Because I've not used this as a way to make an enemy necessarily out of people. My promotional material reiterates that. My politics are mine. My social views and all of that are mine. And I'm not going to pretend like it might not show itself here and there as far as in the background underlaying the plot, as Stan Lee would once say. But I have no desire to beat my audience over the head, which is why when you read the synopsis, when you see the promotional material for the book, you know, we're focusing on what we want to do as a company, and that Some Trailers focuses on the story. It focuses on the story, and that's the important thing, not all this other stuff. And now, because there's people that are more in the indie circuit that also, you know, are people that are charismatic and have a personality, and people can keep up with them. They can see the entire process. That level of transparency exists. You know, there's a lot of folks that are of various different races, gender, whatever, and they're doing good stuff. And so the people that have depended on that don't have that anymore. And it's funny how they reference my race more than I do in regards to this promotional stuff. Y'all focus more on that than me. Y'all keep making it about that. If it was up to me, just enjoy some good work. But if that's where you're going to go, that's where you're going to go. I have to reiterate, I thank you guys so much. You guys are amazing. And we're just getting started.
So visit RippaVerse.com, where we have our own unique store that is tailor-made for our audience. A lot of our stuff will be released in campaign format with limited edition items, and once they're gone, they're gone. We'll be making books that expand across many different genres, so I'm very confident that we'll have something that is right for you in a series that you'll make your favorite.
Please like, subscribe, and comment on the video. May the Force be with you.
Impressive. The most impressive.